Show continues.
I'm very happy for the return of Brad Thor.
Yeah.
Is that your real name? Did we go over that last time?
Yeah, it's the real name.
It really is
I'm actually a junior. My dad's a no longer active Marine, and he's great Brad Senior.
Brad Santini.
Yeah. Was he a rough father?
No, he was a great guy. But
he
my brother and
the
I
hell
are
out of you?
smart asses. So yeah.
Yeah,
what was the worst thing he ever did to you?
Rules of the house.
You know what I got to tell you? Let me tell you the best thing he ever did, and I was really surprised. I took the family car without permission one night,
Right.
and but here's what a loser I was. It was parked next to a column in an underground garage. I didn't even get it out of the space without dragging the car down the side of the column. I thought my dad was going to break my arms, break my legs. I stayed up all night, panicked. What am I going to do? And I just said, first thing in the morning, I'm going to own up the way my Marine Corps father told me, and I'm going to admit it. And he looked at me and he said, "You've been up all night worried about this, haven't you?" And I said, "Yeah, Dad, I have." And I was 16, and he said, "There's absolutely nothing I could do to punish you that would be worse than what you went through last night. Don't ever do it again."
Ooh, wow.
Unbelievable. Then he went out to look at the damage on the car.
That's like,
And it
wait
was
a minute.
string of what's the line from Christmas Story? It was he wove a tapestry of obscenities that's still hanging over Lake Michigan to this day.
But then he started playing basketball at night, and your mom said that's his way of saying he's sorry, and he's going to have to practice to beat you.
My brother does that. When we go out for coffee, my brother will throw, can I have the sugar? And my brother will go, who's my favorite daughter? And he throws packets of sugar across the table. There's the whole great Santini thing. You're going to cry? Here's your sugar. You're going to cry?
Come on, sports fans. My favorite is the fucking honey jars dropping, the thick sound of red dropping Tumor's honey jars. Remember that?
I remember that.
Big laughs.
Fuck yeah.
Big laughs.
Big laughs for everyone.
Big laughs.
Well, this guy has another #1 freaking New York Times bestseller.
Yep.
Right? It's on its way already?
I hope so. Hidden Order comes out today.
Right, but it's going to be on the list immediately. The last one was a #1 New York Times bestseller.
Man.
And this one's called what? Hidden Order?
Hidden Order.
A thriller.
A thriller.
Uh-oh.
So there's no confusion. It's right on the cover there.
And all the
So
books
there's
are with
no
the same
confusion.
character? Or this is the kind of like the...
Yeah, you can read the books in any order. You don't need to read them, from the first one. So, yeah, it has the same character. My guy is a Navy SEAL that in an earlier book got recruited to the White House and to help bolster the Secret Service's counterterrorism expertise. And they realized this guy is not happy playing defense. He wants to be an offense. And so it's this thing that the president sets him loose. But then we had an election. I like to keep up with the times in my books. And the new president said, you know what? People are going to open their hand. They're going to unclench their fist. Don't need this guy anymore. So he actually got cut loose. And I have a private group that's picked him up that kind of mirrors a real private group that the Defense Department's been using.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I'm off their Christmas list again.
Does he go rogue?
Yeah.
It's a rogue character.
Look out, he goes rogue.
Goes one man.
Doesn't listen to anyone.
In a world. In a world.
So he's still, he's working for a kind of security firm that the government uses. And what does he kind of do his own thing?
He does.
Goes off the grid a little bit and takes care of business.
He does a little bit in this one. I've got when 9/11 happened, my wife and I got stranded on the East Coast, and we were going to go. When I was in college, I attended bar a couple of summers on an island in Greece, which was a freaking awesome.
Wow, that sounds
job.
like the best job you could ever have.
It's called Paros. Paros. It's in the center of the Kyklades Islands in Greece, and the tour boats would come in.
Oh,
Nobody
man.
stayed for longer than 48 hours. I'd hear that horn. I was like, all right, here we go.
Wow.
48 hours. Shift
What a
change.
gig.
Shift change. I mean, that was great to be a single guy tending bar in Greece. That was awesome.
Did you hook up with any girls?
God damn it, Jimmy.
The Greek islands are amazing.
One or two.
They're amazing.
Yeah, no, it was.
You ever been to Santorini?
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing?
That's gorgeous. And it was cheap. That was before the euro with the drachma.
Right.
And it was a great, if you were, a young kid with a backpack and stuff like that, that was fantastic.
The whole city or whatever, I guess it's not really a city, just built right into the fucking
On the cliff face there, yeah. Yep.
They just dug
caldera.
holes into the rock, and a lot of these people just lived like that.
It's unreal.
That was their houses.
That's old school.
That's those caves.
Right.
Yeah, we call them
That's
caves.
really
That's
old
old school.
school.
But the view you had, and I'm sure you stayed pretty cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure it was fantastic for them.
No back door, but you know.
That's an expensive island, though. Out of all of them, that one and Mykonos are the expensive ones.
Mykonos is nice,
and that's
too.
why everybody loves those islands.
Fucking pelicans walk around in Mykonos. As a
Is
Chinese.
that what you call it? Yeah, they go. They're always trying to steal stuff off the cafe tables and stuff
I hate
like
fucking
that.
pelicans to this day. I thought they were cool until that I was trying to eat
cool
lunch.
pelican.
I was trying to eat lunch, and they tried grabbing your food.
I got a
just
picture. I
wander
just got a
around.
picture of me with one, and I wasn't comfortable because I was afraid the thing was going to peck my eyes out.
probably
I was
wanted to,
standing
yeah.
next to
Right.
it. Yeah.
Bastards.
So wait a minute,
Look
what
at
do
the
you-
picture on the back of his book. Brad Thor.
Oh, yeah. That's
Look
the
at
one.
me.
Leather jacket.
Is that your casual look,
That's
Brad?
my casual look. Yeah, that's actually that's just
You
getting
look
ready to
good.
go to bed there with the leather jacket on. I got the Glock tucked in the waistband in the back. You can't see that there.
Yeah, we were talking about that before you went on the air, a little bit about your lifestyle. You know,
Yep.
you're a go bag guy.
I'm
You know, you
definitely a
like being
go bag guy.
prepared.
What is a go bag?
Go bag. So it's called a bug out bag, go bag. If it hits the fan, let's say you've got another 9/11 here. This thing is under your desk. It's ready to go. It's going to be the things you need to hold you for 72 hours or get you home, whatever the case may be. It's called "Don't Expect the Government to Save Your Ass" bag.
Yeah,
That's what
everything
that is.
everything you need for a couple of days.
So what's in it? Obviously a pistol, water,
That's on you.
what's it?
And then
pretzels, a hat,
Yeah, but you know what? Some of
two
that stuff-
novels.
Yeah, what's your luxury item in your go bag?
toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
I know that
A lot of
sounds
people
stupid.
forget that.
A lot
Yeah,
of people
yeah.
forget that. But think about it. I was here when the blackout happened, and the lights went out, and everybody's filling up the lobby, and I'm like, all right, suckers. And I broke into the maid's cabinet. I got every wastebasket I could because I knew it was a gravity-fed tank on top of the roof, and the water was going to be gone soon. So guess who was still flushing his toilet 3 days later? The guy that stole garbage cans. And, well, all these suckers were in the lobby. And then these chuckleheads figured, well, we can't go back up to our room because the lights are out. The key cards won't work. It's battery powered on the door locks. It was amazing how, and so everybody stood around expecting somebody to do something for them. So I filled the bathtub with water and all that kind of stuff. And
people expect like, well, we're supposed to be taken care of.
but that's the pussification of the American male,
yes,
isn't it?
yes.
I mean, we've all been told. I mean, I know guys that can't hang frickin' pictures anymore. They
Yeah.
need to call the handyman service to come in and do it for their
It
wives.
is amazing. Everyone will sit, and we've seen these small little microcosms of disasters that happen in various cities across the country. Could you imagine a nationwide or a global disaster that would really bring the people to their knees? Where all right, for now we're screwed, but we know there's somebody, in another state, and soon they'll come and help. Where no help is coming.
Look at Katrina. Look at Sandy. I mean, those are things where they knew the hurricanes were coming.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if something happened. So my thing is,
And people are cool for the first, 3 days maybe, tops?
I don't even think it was that long.
I think we're at the
By
point now.
the third day, it's getting a
We're
little rough out
courteous
there.
for maybe a day, and then because when that gasoline started running out,
People had to
are
get online.
not very courteous on lines anymore.
But how many days was that? 2 days in?
Well, the British,
Yeah, 2 or
the
3.
British intelligence service says that people are 4 meals away from anarchy. You miss 4
4
meals,
meals.
and then that's how they
That's
describe it in Great
amazing,
Britain.
right?
4 meals.
That's about right.
Well, the average grocery store has enough. Nobody stockpiles stuff at grocery stores anymore. They're getting 16 to 27 deliveries a day. So as you grab that last Wonder Bread, there's a truck in the back bringing the new stuff. But they can't keep those store shelves stocked if the trucks aren't moving. So
Right.
And I'm a father. So I'm a father, and I'm also a man. I want to take care of the people around me, my family.
Mm-hmm.
My kids don't care if we've got an idiot running if FEMA. If they're hungry, guess who they look to? They're not
Yeah.
going to look at whoever that guy is and say, why isn't he getting those yummy MREs here fast enough?
You got to know. I think every guy needs basic knowledge of how to survive without a house to go around you in the woods away. You know how to light a fire, know how to find wood, know how to build a shelter. I
think that's
you
BS.
should.
I think manscaping is more important. I think the pomade, I think all that stuff is more important.
Yeah.
And that's where we are as a society. We wonder why we're collapsing.
Know how to change a goddamn tire. There's certain things I think every guy should know that as we go on, less
How to
and less
adjust for
guys are
windage
doing
and
that.
elevation.
That
I think that stuff's
too,
important.
right?
I think that's important. My kids can do that, you know. And this is the thing. I talk to my SEAL buddies and some of my other guys in the special operations community, and they joke with me all the time. I had a couple of SEALs at my house, and they said, "Well, Thor, what are you going to do if the wheels come off the bus? How are you going to set up to shoot these guys outside?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to sit here." And they're like, "No way. You never sit in the window." They're like, "You're going to be back. You're going to lay on your kitchen counter because you got a perfect view out the window." And they're like, "Now we have to mark off the distances." And I'm like, "What are we going to do?" They took Dora the Explorer stickers from my daughter's room, and we now have them at 25 yards. So we have at 50 yards. We have Dora the Explorer stickers on the back of like people's
estimate range.
houses.
Now you can see
aim
it.
for
You know
Dora.
where it
There's
is.
Boots the monkey. I know the guy's 100 yards now.
Man.
How funny is that? Huh?
That's great. Now that's something I realize I got to do.
I'm sure you have plenty of those stickers laying around.
Jimmy. You always need a contingency plan, you know?
That's it.
Got to be prepared.
And you're
what
down
would you
there.
do, Jimmy? Come on now.
Call down and have some of the doormen in my luxury building bring me comfort. I'm the worst. I'm prepared for nothing.
Nothing.
I'm a
Aw.
gentleman. I would joke my way through it.
Jimmy, you're welcome to come out to my house. And
Thank you.
But he's never going to get there
We'll
alive.
hunker down there.
I would drive out there.
But
Yeah.
I have
everyone
my
else
own
would be
car.
driving.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You would
too.
have to walk at that point.
Grab a bike.
You're going to need that's bike will work.
You probably
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
to
have
get
a
bike.
contingency plan.
Yes.
Steal
But
a-
a
steal
car
a
would not
bike.
work if everything hits the fence.
When is the last time?
Does
It'll
anybody
be too
watch Walking
crowded.
Dead? Haven't you seen what
Right?
the highways look like?
Right. Well, and
packed.
especially Manhattan. It's only a couple ways off this damn
Can't
island.
even get around when
There's
it's...
no fucking way your car
Steal a
would
boat.
be something you could use.
Steal a
That's it.
boat.
Steal a boat.
A boat?
Is a pretty good
You could take
plan.
out one of these hedge fund managers like that.
Oh, exactly.
Those guys
Yeah.
snap them like
What
a
are they gonna
toothpick.
What about a
Got your
whirly
boat.
bird?
If you know how to fly a helicopter.
Steal a whirly bird.
I don't think there's going to be many around.
No.
When's the last time we had a global? I mean, you have to be
Yeah,
prepared
yeah.
for it, I guess. I don't have a family, so I don't even think about it. I mean,
But the thing is, it's not always, realistically, it's not a global thing. It could be very localized, and you're still not getting help for a while. We've been lucky that there is still that influx of fuel, albeit it was very slow, and food and water and whatnot, so that it wasn't this all, panicking breakdown of society. But there were some places on the beach that really didn't have water, and we're wondering where their food is coming from.
It changed Laszlo.
Yeah.
He came in here with a shaved head.
Yeah,
Saw the
right.
world completely. Laszlo's a friend of ours that had long hair forever, and after Hurricane
Well, that was
Sandy,
it.
he came in with a
He
shaved
went all
head.
Colonel Kurtz on
He was
everybody.
Colonel Kurtz.
He was a change. He was a changed man after that hurricane because he had a beach house.
But it's a
what
small
happens.
area. But you got to realize if something takes out even the Northeast, that is bad. You're in some shit for a while.
Look,
Yeah.
Toronto's dealing with flash floods and blackouts today. So
Yeah. it's,
so they
it's
got
just
their
always
little
good to-
their little issue. Today.
I get goofed on. You get goofed on for that?
You know what? All the time, and you have to think of security. I mean, how many people do you want to know that you're all squared
Yeah.
away?
Yeah.
I've got good neighbors, and they're pretty squared away. And then I've got some. How vulgar can we get on this show?
Oh, pretty vulgar.
I got some relatives that are absolute shitbags that think
Can't say that.
They're gonna
No, I
show up
can't say
last
that.
minute.
Can I say balls?
Oh,
I
yes.
can't say that either.
everything but clithood, you can say.
So you got to be careful. Listen, at the end of I got nailed for using the cliche. Bill O'Reilly made fun of me for saying.
Oh, he did at the end of the day?
Yeah, he had a whole lineup of people that said that. I want to be able to take care of my wife, take care of my kids, take care of myself. The last thing I want to be is dependent upon my government to come to my rescue, because it ain't going to happen. I've seen it over and over and over again. Not that I expect anything to happen, but
Right.
I wear a seatbelt. I don't expect to get in an accident. And I got a fire extinguisher. It's a natural extension.
That's what
Sure.
people...
That's the same reason I wear
live in
diapers.
Well, where's your go bag now?
It is downstairs in the car.
See,
Yep.
that's not going to help you.
Oh, it will. He'll get there.
You'll get to your car.
Tuck and
Yeah.
roll.
Yeah,
I think I can get to
Kick
it.
something
you
in.
think you can?
Yeah, I can get out of this building.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're right here.
What if the elevators don't work?
I'm going down the stairs.
What if they're on fire?
What if they're on fire?
Smoky elevators and stairwells.
We're in big trouble.
Yo,
Every
Wallace
single-
from The Wire.
Oh, is that it? Wallace?
Does you want to come and say hi?
Oh, it is Wallace. He's got a
Jimmy just
a
ran
movie.
out to get a picture of.
Yeah, he's got a movie.
Yo, Wallace!
He's got a movie.
Yo, Wallace! Yo!
So Jim went to get a picture, but not invite him in to get on the show. This would be good.
Yo, Wallace!
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
The Wire is one of our...
Let's have him read from Hidden Order. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Good sales for the book.
We just want to say hi.
No, not at all. Not at all.
How you doing, man?
Huge fans of
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What are you promoting?
Michael B. Jordan.
Fruitvale Station. Huh? Fruitvale Station comes out July 26th in theaters. It's about Oscar Grant, the kid up in Oakland that was shot and killed by the BART Transit Police back in 2009.
It looks crazy.
Okay.
Check it out.
Right on. We will.
It looks very suspenseful.
I couldn't believe you were only in...
It's a heavy one. It sticks with you after, man.
I'll give the mic for a second.
For 1 second. Me and Jimmy couldn't believe you were only in one season of The Wire. I mean, Jimmy was talking about it, and I'm like, he was only on the first season of The Wire.
I mean, like, you know when you get that knock on your trailer by David Simon, you know it's something bad. So
no.
He kind of showed up and was like, hey, mate, Mike, we love you. You're going to be fine, though. Everybody loves you. That's the reason why we got to kill you. So we got to let you go. You got to kill the heart of the show sometimes, man. So,
man.
How bummed were you? Because it was so unexpected.
I was sad because it was like a family. You know, everybody on the show, you know, you growing up. I was like 15 at the time. So, you know, I was young, not knowing what's going to happen next. But, you know, you just kind of got to take that leap of faith and move on to the next project. So, you know, they killed me off. And then I jumped on the soap for 4 years. And that's kind of where I learned, like, you know, my chops. You know, for 100 pages a day is kind of like that quick pace.
It seems impossible.
Is that how they told you were going to die? They just kind of knock on the trailer and say,
today's the day?
I mean, each script that you get, you're kind of like just skimming through to make sure you see your name at the end. And as soon as I started seeing I was like taking drugs and stuff, I was like, okay, Wallace is going any day now. And then you get that infamous knock on your door, and it's just like, oh, David Simon. Nobody wants to see that guy. So,
man.
So, then that was pretty much it.
Oh, that's brutal.
Made an impression, though, sir.
All right.
my manager flew next to you on a plane. My manager, Jonathan, he said he sat next to you on a plane.
The plane thing in.
You talking about Ken?
What's that?
Coming from Ken or?
I don't. Yeah, it might have been Jonathan. Yeah, he's a really weird guy. But he said he talked to you the whole time, and you were a very nice guy. He makes no impact, so it's not surprising you don't remember. He does not leave.
This is your agent or your manager?
My manager. I actually have a photo
They're
with
getting
him.
nervous out there.
No, you know they are.
No, we just want to say hi.
I appreciate the love, man.
Come back and do.
It's great. Yeah,
Come back in other interviews.
We'll hook something up legitimately.
You come back again.
42 West.
Cool, man.
All right, man. I appreciate
Well, you're a great
man.
actor, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Squeeze my hand, man.
No worries.
All right, brother. You guys.
Good luck with the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it comes out, I think, this Friday, you said, right? Fruitvale Station.
26th.
Oh, wow, my way off. Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome. But you know what comes out today?
Yes.
Hidden Order.
Hidden
New Brad
Order.
Thor thriller.
Yes, it does.
Thriller.
Brad Thor's new book.
Thor.
You
Yes.
do one a year, I guess, huh?
I do one a year.
That's about what you want to do.
Yeah, that's the business model with the publisher.
Smart.
So, yeah, well, you know, it's tough. I mean, to get one out a year, it's really hard.
Are they making them into movies yet?
We had a development deal with Warner Brothers. We got a script written, and I'm waiting to see what happens. So that's a good step. But you know what? I'll believe it when I'm sitting in the movie theater watching it.
Yeah.
Hollywood is that should be its own planet out there. Those guys think the world works completely opposite the way it does. They make these absolutely crappy anti-American movies and wonder why people in Manhattan and L.A. are the only ones buying the tickets.
Yeah.
How come we're not selling in Texas?
Because you know what? It's the
right?
same. I don't even mind that message if it's delivered in a smart or interesting way, but it's the same trite, boring, predictable sentiment every fucking time, and it gets irritating. It's not delivered in a way that I find interesting. It's like, I get it, we're terrible. Just at least make it an
It
interesting.
doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, this nation is the greatest force for good in the history of the world. I mean, you look at everything. We have made it better by this country's existence. And we're the only truly free country in the world. Everything else is dictatorships, communist regimes, or highly socialized states like Canada, France, England, Germany. So, I mean, we're the last stand. I mean, everybody wants this. We're being told all the time now that, we got to be like the rest of them. No, we don't. The rest of them need to be like us.
Stand that.
We're based on, you know what the smallest minority is in the world? It's the individual. And this is the only country that preserves the rights of the individual. And that's what capitalism does. And I'm tired of this fair share bullshit, 99, 1%. You know what? This country's about the 100%. You get off your ass, you work hard. I mean, I met you on a red eye.
Yeah.
Jim, I mean, we flew on that plane.
right.
You were
Come
doing
back
a
from
show,
LA.
and they were coming back so you could do this show in the morning. So you're working your butt
hard.
off. I mean, how many clubs have you been in your life? I mean, that's the story of America. There's no promise. Nobody came here because the Lamp of Liberty was shooting dollar bills out it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
$100 bills. It's here. You come here, you work hard. I was telling you off camera that a guy that's done some work at my house, great guy named Kevin, is a huge fan of the show, and the guy works his ass off.
Yeah.
And that blows me away. The guys that work for him, and he's a success story. He's got his own business. He comes and goes as he wants, but he works hard. That's what this country's about. There's no promise of you're going to get a check. No, there
seems to be. People think there's a guarantee. They think their Bill of Rights. There's actually a right to not be offended. There's a right to housing and food and
education and a job.
But there's not. It's great that it's available. If you work for certain things, you get certain things. But there's too many people thinking, that it's just, and they honestly think it's just the way it is. You're supposed to get it.
I've gotten, and again, I agree with you to a certain degree. I've gotten really irritated with the country, though, because it seems that there's always a group that has to fight to get what they're supposed. You know what I mean? Like with gay marriage is the issue now, and before that it was this, and before that it was that, and it's almost like why do we always? Is there one group that has to fight to get what they're supposed to get? It's starting to bug me a lot that we tell everybody else how to live, and yet we have so many inconsistencies here in the way we.
I think it just goes with the basic gist of the populace and what is accepted and not, and what people like and don't like and want and don't like.
Well, it's
and
these
as long
guys
as it doesn't interfere with your rights.
This thing in Cairo and Syria and all this kind of stuff. I heard a great line once, which is you can't bring democracy to a country that has more goats than flush toilets. And I thought that was a pretty good line. I mean, it was rough, but it was pretty good. I look at the whole NSA spying scandal thing in this. So the NSA listening to our phone calls, reading our emails, which I had in my thriller last summer, and I look at this, and somebody raised a great point last week, which is, so let me get this straight. It's an inconvenience for our security, is what we're being told. Hundreds of millions of Americans being inconvenienced to keep us safe. Well, let me ask you something. None of us in this room are going to stop Islamic terrorism, but yet we're being inconvenienced. I got an idea. Before you inconvenience me and listen in on all my stuff and make my life even the slightest bit inconvenient, why don't you inconvenience the population from which these terrorists come? How about that? How about we're all nice, good Americans, but let's inconvenience good Muslims so that they get ticked off at their jihadist cousins, brothers, and sisters and say, stop bombing, because I can't get a visa to get into the United States because you're such an idiot. So if we're going to inconvenience anybody, why doesn't the federal government go and look to inconvenience others rather than its own citizens? Why? I can't change that. I can't change people bombing and blowing themselves up, yet you're going to inconvenience me? Who the heck is the federal government looking out for?
Yeah, I don't like the idea.
That's a great take.
I don't like the idea of all this aid going out there also.
The $1 billion a year to Egypt makes me sick.
Egypt, at this point, when you don't even know who the hell's running the show over there, there shouldn't be any money going over there.
Well, what do we get? I remember in 2011, February 2011, was when President Obama was saying it's time for Mubarak to go. Well, how's that working out for us?
Yeah.
How's it? What do we get in return? I mean, listen, he might have been a bad guy. He was our bad guy. At the end of the day, the president's job is not to promote democracy first in Egypt. It's to look out for our interests. Yeah. And then you cozy up with the Mobros over there. Those guys are bad actors, and this is going to bite us in the butt.
We've been doing that for years, though, and it drives me. It's the same thing. We did it in fucking Vietnam. We did it in Korea. Minding everybody's business and trying to. It's not our. I don't care what Syria does. I don't care how they treat their citizens because it's not my business.
Let them rise up and throw over their own government. Yeah. I'm not interested in one more American life being lost.
Yep.
Because we helped out in Afghanistan in the 80s, and look what happened. Then people are like, well, you aren't bin Laden. Well, yeah, it's because we were kind of helping, and we had a common enemy in the Soviets.
Yeah, that's it, too. No one wants to look at the context of these relationships we've had over the years. There was a Cold War going on during Vietnam. You could say, why do we go there? Well, at the time, it seemed like the right thing to do to stop the advance of communism, especially with so many allies down there in the South Pacific and whatnot. You don't want them getting a real foothold over there. And you look now and it's like, oh, it's terrible. We shouldn't have been there. Again, context. All that shit that we did during the 80s and stuff. You got to look at it for what it was.
I don't mind self-interest. I'm fine with it because every country acts in self-interest.
We're hardwired as human beings to act.
Absolutely. What I don't like is the dishonesty in the motives. That drives me nuts. Just say what we're doing. Fuck Kuwait. I don't care if Iraq takes over Kuwait. It was Saudi Arabia we were looking out for. Just say that. Like, I don't give a shit about the Kuwaiti people. I don't give a shit about the Iraqis, the Afghanistans. They don't care or like us.
Yeah. How do we not get a dime? How do we not get a dime back from Iraq to pay for all that stuff? Hey, we liberated you guys. And by the way, as soon as we're done paying off the debt, you can have your oil fields back. Why are we ashamed that no blood for oil? Guess what? There was a lot of blood. How about no blood for nothing?
Yeah, we should have been pumping oil out of there and paying our own way.
Yeah, and guess what? We got $17 trillion in debt, so there's a little interest on the war bill, fellas.
Yeah,
as soon as that debt's gone, then you can have the oil.
Yeah, that could have been paid for. Yeah, exactly.
Does Media Matters watch this show? Because I can now see the headlines. Brad Thor wants to take over.
I mean, they're all fault. Media Matters. They're just, again, they're like a fucking just a biased special interest group going under the guise of being
bunch of monkeys in house coats sitting in the basement.
Yeah. Trying to act like they're unbiased and they're trying to be fair. That's just sickening.
Yeah. Well, boy, it sure seems grim, doesn't it? When you sit here and chat like this.
You know what?
Then you go outside and it's nice out.
It's a nice, beautiful day today. You'll be jumping in a pool.
Birds are tweeting. Yeah, I'll be in the pool. Although I do have a dentist appointment.
But inside, the world's coming to an end here.
Yeah, inside here.
But we've got our go bags and a new book, and we're ready to...
How does the book end?
How does the book end?
You know what's funny?
Can I just read the last page on the air for everybody?
You wrote it. The book actually opens up with a quote from Kennedy and closes with a very upbeat, optimistic quote from Reagan, because I wanted to end the book on that note.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep.
And what was the quote from Kennedy was, "Let me wipe this off. Jackie's coming in."
Here, I'll read.
It doesn't end with a quote from Reagan.
No, you're in the epilogue. I'll read the end of the final chapter. Says
epilogue.
Basically as the
chapter
president.
73.
Huh?
Chapter 73.
I'm on page.
Oh, you're right. Epilogue, Cape Cod.
Sorry,
you're right.
That's where the hero gets the girl.
Okay.
So 370. But the bottom of 370, if you want to read it, Opie, or I will.
No, I'm not going to do that to you.
So, no, this doesn't give it away. But this is the president, and as he walked him slowly to the door of the Oval Office, he left them with one final thought. And the president said, "A man who occupied this office years ago once said that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same, or one day we'll spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men were free." He then shook their hands and said, "I'm glad to know that you'll both be with me in this fight."
He just read that's the end of the book. So we know it all works out in the end.
You don't know who he's talking to.
You don't exactly.
You have no
That's
idea.
true.
I guarantee a high body count, lots of explosions, bullets.
Who are we talking about as far as bad guys in this?
So with this, in Hidden Order, my new book, last summer's book, Blacklist, I was talking about the NSA and how everything's, I wove that in. I do fiction, and I want you to have that great beach read, white knuckle thrill ride, but when you close the book, your heart's not only pumping, but you say, you know what, I'm actually smarter for having read this Brad Thor book. I learned something.
Smarter from reading?
Yep. How about that? What's that about? That's nice. What's that about?
We're going to get smarter.
Bumper stickers with that. So with this book, what I wanted to do was 9/11, as I started saying, we got stranded, and I found out about this group more secretive than the NSA, more secretive than the CIA, and some people say more powerful than the U.S. government. And it's their 100-year birthday this year. They've been around for 100 years. They're a total failure. They pretend to be part of the government, and it's the Federal Reserve. They're about as federal as Federal Express. And it's for a thriller writer, just the research I did, this stuff, it's like it was ripped out of a spy novel. These guys purposely tried to mislead the American people. They snuck out way back in the 1900s. They snuck out of Hoboken, New Jersey in the middle of the night on a private train car using fake names, went down to Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia and cooked up this whole Federal Reserve thing. And it's fascinating because there was all this subterfuge, and it exists to this day. All of us know very little about it, and that's on purpose.
Bill Burr does.
Bill Burr's right about that.
Who knows?
Bill Burr was yapping about the Fed
Illuminati
for quite a while.
We know.
Saying
there's some fascinating things. And who's behind the Fed? So I said, can I take a beach read, weave these guys in, and give people an absolute edge of their seat ride? And that's what I attempted to do with Hidden Order.
And you're proud of this book, huh?
I'm very proud of it. I actually think it's the best thing I've ever written. And I think I'm going to be off the Fed's Christmas card list. But I think
how do you write your books? Meaning, do you go somewhere? Do you spend just an hour here, an hour there?
Like you, I'm a dad, so I'll get the kids, off to school in the morning, and I'll run or work out or something like that. Then I'm at the desk, at home, and I sit there, and it's the story of success in any business. It's seat of pants to seat of chair. I'm working hard.
Do you have to be do you have to be inspired? Because I'm weird when I write. Like, I can't just make myself write. But can you, like, I think Stephen King will do that. He'll sit down and go, I have to write from 9 to 1. Can you do that?
Jack London said you can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club, and that's true. So yeah. So
do you get frustrated where you just know you're writing a lot of shit or stuff that will never make the book?
You know what's hard for me is I never cheat. Never cheat. I never have any Deus Ex Machina where something pops up suddenly to solve the problem. I paint my guy into corners all the time, and he's got to get himself out. And I also do my homework. Nothing ticks me off more, and I know it does for you. You see a safety on a Glock or something stupid like that. I do my homework, and that's why I'm so proud that I hear from active Marines, I hear from SEALs, I hear from guys in Delta who say, you know what, this is exactly the kind of stuff we're facing. Your guy does it exactly the way we do it. He's got the right gear. And that, for me, is a real compliment. When the men and women are out there, away from the flagpole, doing some of this nation's most dangerous business, Brad Thor's getting it right.
Takes you out of the book or movie, in my case, movies mostly. But then when you see something that just is out of context or it's not right, it's not portrayed right, I guess it's a continuity problem or whatnot.
When you write, do you know exactly how it all is going to...
I don't.
So that's cool. So you will just go with it.
And it's the experience for me writing it. Is what I hope you're getting reading it, because I don't know what's going to happen next. So I get there, and I know I got to write the next chapter, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want a big surprise. I want to be shocked here as a reader. So what's the most shocking thing I can come up with in the next chapter?
Flying saucers.
Flying saucers.
Everybody wakes up with a hat that they can't take off.
How ridiculous. Imagine he turns that into his publisher.
Yeah, they're all wearing fedoras that won't come off.
You guys, next week, will see me pushing a garbage can and a broom around here. I'm going to turn that into the next book.
So you got like pleasant surprises, because then you surprise yourself sometimes. Like, oh wow, wait, I'm going to go in this direction for a while.
This was a big risk for me when I decided to become a writer, because I didn't know, was this going to go anywhere? Was I going to get a contract? So it was a big risk. I took a big chance, and I love my job. I absolutely love it. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, because I tell people, you know what? I'll never waste your money, and I'll never waste your time. You can make $30, $20, whatever it is, to buy a new book, but you can't get that time back that you've given me to read one of my books. So just like the guy I talked about, Kevin, who put the windows in at my house, who listens to your show, you know what? Kevin's working his butt off. He's giving me the best he can. Right. Kevin's going to buy one of my books. Why isn't it incumbent upon me?
You can't give him a free book.
I was just going to say, why wouldn't you throw
your
one
windows
to Kevin?
or whatever at
like
your
he's
house?
doing them for free. Kevin ain't expensive. I didn't take
can't hand him a book?
We don't call him low bid Kevin, okay? Kevin's expensive.
How about we give Kevin a book today?
Right. Yeah, sign one over to
Kevin. Please. We're going to sign Norton's book to you today.
I understand you want everyone to work.
It was Opie's idea. We'll sign Opie's book.
I understand you want everyone to work hard in this country, but how about you give Kevin a little break?
Everybody putting in your window
gets tons of books. Everybody thinks,
Right.
So the same family members are going to show up to eat my children's food when the apocalypse happens. They're all the ones lined up first for free books. And then a loan. And then, while I'm here, hey, can you sign that? And, little Billy needs a leg brace. That's $500. And that's always the worst thing, like Johnny Dangerously. Grandma needs brand new eyes. It's going to be $60,000. Can you write a check?
And how long does it take to write a book? Not a whole year, right?
No, it depends on the research, and sometimes you'll get those days. My goal is to get 2,500 words written a day. So some days I'll smack.
How many pages is that?
5 single-space pages.
A day.
Monday to Friday. I got kids like you, and I'm trying to be a good dad and a good husband. Some days it comes, some days it doesn't come.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just sit there in front of it and just nothing. I've always found the tangents are good, though. And again, I don't write like you do. I write just kind of nonfiction, like little vignette shitty things that have happened to me. But something will happen where you start to go off on a tangent, and I'm almost afraid I'm going to be overwhelmed by it. Like, it's just too much. And then I'm like, just go with it. And a lot of times that's more interesting than I was originally going to write, is where you wind up going off in some weird direction.
There is a certain amount of discipline you've got to have, because there's structure in books, but probably the best and worst thing to ever happen to an author is the internet. I can get great research, or I can go to look at a missile on Jane's Defense, and 4 hours later I'm watching midget wrestling from Tijuana, and I'm going, when's the donkey coming on? When's the halftime show?
Good for you,
and it's bad.
Good for you.
It's bad stuff.
You talked about cheating, and I like Stephen King mentioned that. He did it was in Misery, and there was a great moment where Kathy Bates, that fucking wacko, is so mad at the author because he wrote a book that the girl died in the book, and that's why she kidnaps him. So she's angry. And
Misery Chastain.
Yes. And then he makes her alive. And she goes, you cheated. Because, like, the analogy that Psycho used was that she hated when TV shows, when a car goes off the cliff, and, oh, my God, it's the cliffhanger, the star is dead. But then the next week they show him rolling out of the car before it goes off the cliff. But you're no, that's not what happened. You're cheating, because in the last week he went off the cliff.
Well, you're really sympathizing with her, aren't you?
I really am. I relate to her relationship with celebrities.
It's why I saw the movie Olympus Has Fallen, and I like Gerard Butler and everything, and I saw that movie, and there were so many inconsistencies and cheats in there. The action was great, but this guy's off the president's Secret Service detail for 18 months, yet all his passcodes still work at the White House. It's like, dude, you haven't even hit Pennsylvania Avenue, and all that stuff's gone, you know? And then when the terrorists come in an airplane, they've got a machine gun thing up on the top of the White House that shoots at the airplane, and that doesn't work, and then the whole thing, the White House gets taken over, but somehow later when the Navy SEALs show up, oh, wait, we have this missile system up on the roof, and the terrorists can use that to shoot the SEAL helicopters out of it.
But they didn't use it earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have fixed it.
Yeah, what if it wasn't running?
They fixed it.
Sequester wasn't available. Wasn't available until after 7 p.m. on a Friday.
Come up with the funding, that's all.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it.
Well, I hope your book has realistic bad guys like that last Mission Impossible, because the Russians and the launch codes I thought was extremely topical for 2012. That was good.
It's very most of the book is set in Boston, which was fun for me to research and do. So
we lived in Boston. I love Boston.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places.
And I was just the other day saying I need to read a book this summer. Guess what? You came in perfect time.
You're on the
I'm
beach.
going to watch. I'm going to read it in order.
You're sitting there. You're reading.
I need to read and get off that fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm going to start reading again. I used to read a book every 2 weeks. Easy.
It's tough.
I was good for 25 books a year.
Wow.
I was.
Wow.
And not anymore.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something. Since you've got kids, one of the things I grew up hearing is if you read to your kids, they're going to become great readers. Read in that book, Freakonomics. It's got the apple with the slice out of it and looks like an orange inside. That's the cover on Freakonomics. And these guys studied it, and they said, you know what's a greater determinant of whether or not your children will be readers as they grow up? If they see you reading. That's more important than reading to them every night before they go to bed. That's a great thing to do. It's great bonding with your kids, but your kids will emulate that behavior if they see you with a book and reading.
We watch Team Zumi together.
See?
With the troublemakers.
Does Swank count?
Right.
Yeah. Just cracking open the old copy of Swank.
With the staples in the middle. That's not gonna.
I got to turn off the cartoons.
Yeah, maybe you got to read.
I get very excited when On Demand has a new Team Zumi to watch.
Oh, God. What happened?
I get lazy. It's fun. Although I hate Caillou.
What happened?
Did you go through a Caillou stage with your kids? How old are your kids?
My kids are 8 and 10.
So you went through a Caillou stage.
We were particular. I don't even know if that stuff was out then when my kids were out. We were trying to find stuff that we liked that was okay for them to watch. The networks. You know, it's funny now. I'm still particular about what I expose my kids to, and the only network that doesn't have bad commercials is Food Network.
Really?
What do you mean bad commercials?
Commercials that I think don't put things.
You're
there
more
that
bothered
I don't
by
wanna...
commercials?
Some of the commercials just put stuff out there in scenarios that I don't necessarily need my kids seeing right now.
Things like that.
Like what? What
Viagra?
Commercials? This is fascinating.
Well, I don't. I'm trying to think of some of the bad ones since we don't watch a ton of commercial TV. I mean,
this ones with sexual content, or
yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and there's just we're trying to keep our kids innocent for as long as we can. We're not going to raise a couple of hayseeds, that don't know how the rest of the world works. But I want it to be on our time as we think they're ready. And there's always teases for the news. And we live in Chicago. Oh my. The violence in Chicago is terrible. I don't want my kids freaking out. I mean, they're smart. My kids know what to do. If a bad guy shows up and tries to grab them, you're supposed to yell. And if that doesn't work, you tell him your father is going to find him and is going to kill him. And your father doesn't care if he goes to jail. Your father will kill the bad guys. You make sure they know that. Say, go for the neighbor's kids. Their dads are women. That's what my kids have been taught.
Go for the
Their daughter's prettier than I am, sir. I agree.
What do you think of Chicago and all the violence up there?
You know what? I think it's
on the news every night, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, we had 4 guardian angels get knifed outside our back door. of our building in Chicago. We had a district attorney, we call them state's attorneys there. This guy, 6 o'clock on a Thursday, went down to the beach. He was off work. He was going to the beach. I don't know if he was going fishing, whatever. There were 2 gay men there that were being hassled by a couple of thugs. He tried to step in and say, hey, leave these guys alone. These 2 thugs took beer bottles, smashed them, and sliced this state's attorney to ribbons. 26-year-old kid. No, he survived. But this is the kind of stuff that's happening every day. No, this is downtown Chicago where I live.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's your building you live in?
Well, it was the beach where the state's
No, I know, but the other incident outside the building.
Where the Ford Guardian Angel guys got slashed? Yeah, that was right outside our back door.
How about you move?
Huh? Well, we're looking at Tennessee. We're looking at Texas. We're looking at a bunch of different places.
I think the books are doing well.
Chicago's just insane at this point. The body count that comes out of there every weekend.
It's more dangerous than Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Astounding.
Well, and I said I was going to wait for the last election and see what my fellow citizens in Illinois decided to do, because we have the worst bond ratings in the country in Illinois, worse than California. We just found out last week that the government had been lying again about how poorly funded the pensions are by 65%. It's the Titanic.
Honest mistake.
Yeah, you carry the one.
Yeah.
Whoops. Oh gosh, just like Geithner, and I didn't do my taxes, but I'd love to run the Treasury. So they voted in the same idiots that are causing the problems, and my wife and I said, and she got very sick at the beginning of the year, so we were going to move this year, and she spent a lot of the beginning of the year in the hospital, unfortunately. She's better now, but so we committed to 1 more year of school, and we're getting out of there.
Get out of there.
But let me ask you this. When are the people going to be fed up and do something about this? Because we just continued taking it.
Well, they continued to take it in Detroit, too, didn't they? And they look at the way Chicago will be Detroit, and Chicago will be.
And you really think the people could rise up when it's time?
The people don't care.
I know, that's right.
People don't care. And there was an interesting white paper that came out that said people who live in cities and areas with corrupt government that's been there for a while are less apt to fight to change it. Number one, because they're used to it. Number two, they say it's been this way forever. How am I going to change it? If it could have been changed, I tried for a while. I was supporting candidates and working on campaigns, and I finally said, it's not worth my family's safety. It's not worth my safety. The great thing about the states and the way that our republic is set up, you can move and money is portable. Jobs are the job. Your job is the hardest thing. I can move, though. I'm fortunate. Can Kevin, my wonderful guy, can Kevin move and start his business someplace else? Yeah, it might be tough. I give him a huge recommendation. Can you imagine Brad Thor on the side of his truck?
That would be nice, right? Sponsored by
Brad Thor.
Yeah, that it really is amazing. You have to literally pick up and leave, because the city you live in has deteriorated.
But I will not go quietly into that good night. I can't stand Rahm Emanuel. I can't stand the idiot governor, Quinn, that we have in our state. And I am going to lead this fun thing. I'm talking to a couple of groups in Illinois. I said, let's pick the day. Anybody wants to leave, let's see if we can get all the moving trucks going on the same day. And anybody else who's thinking about moving, let's do a caravan like Smokey and the Bandit or Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Let's do to the state line. Let's have, so the news will have to cover it. Let's get 1,000 cars and let's tie green streamers all over them to represent the money that is going to be leaving Illinois. And let's all drive, even if it's people who aren't going to move but who want to. And let's do something symbolic. And let's take all these cars and cross the state line into Indiana from Illinois and just send a message. These guys, there's no repercussions. They keep getting reelected. They're kicking the can down the road. And Illinois is a great state. Chicago's a beautiful city. Great people there. But they got a bunch of idiots running it. And the stupid voters keep voting the people back in.
They keep voting them back in.
It's like tinkling in the ocean when I go to the polls in that city.
Yeah, you can't
Doesn't make any difference. People snicker. You want the Republican ballot?
Yeah.
But do you think there's better?
Sucker.
You really think there are better candidates that just aren't getting elected? Or are they all the same shitty people?
No, people don't stand up. Plato was famous for saying that smart men who avoid politics will end up being governed by dumber men. And that's the problem. And Plato said that. And that's what's happening in Illinois. People are convinced that it's so corrupt there that even good people couldn't win. And that's a problem. We came very close in our last governor's election. It was like less than 0.1% to get rid of the chucklehead that's in Springfield now. This guy's just a moron. I can't stand him. And he's ruining our state. He's ruining our state. And what also ticks me off, there are good people. You may not agree with the pensions and the size of the deals. Then let's work on getting the new people different deals. But the people, there are some crooked deals that need to be tossed out. But there are people who are retired. There are people who have worked their butts off, cops, firemen. Other people have put salt on our roads so our cars cars don't get in accidents in the wintertime, who have done that knowing that this is the deal. They've planned their lives, they plan their retirements, sending their kids to college, all this kind of stuff. That's a promise we have made to them. We honor that promise. We need to find a way to honor promises to those people. I'd love to take it out of a politician's hide and make
Well, how about out of Egypt? How about the billion we sent to that shit house we just put back into pensions?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you ever run for
Plenty of
office?
money we're wasting.
No, I like doing radio.
Jimmy.
You talk like a
Look at the dog doing that. Don't you wish you could do that? Well, aren't you afraid he'd bite you? It's a great...
You talk like a politician, though. Would you ever run?
You know what? I can't stand politicians. That'd be my platform, that I'd need a shower in my office to have to wipe off all the scum from dealing with politicians on a daily basis. You know, at some point, I think you can't sit back and complain unless you're willing to do something about it. So at this point, I finally, I've been to so many rallies because I've been so ticked off about government and how messed up it is. And I've been to all these rallies, and I walk away like, oh, I'm excited. We're going to change things. Yeah. And nobody's told me how to change it. And I finally said, I gave a speech last Saturday, first time ever, about how do we do it? What do we do? And I'm now convinced it happens at the precinct level. It happens at the smallest level of voting that exists in a state. And I think that that's the way to really do it. And that's going to be my new thing, is I want to turn other people on to here's how we do it, here's how we take things over. But would I like to run for office at some point? Yeah, I probably would. You can't sit back and complain, and you're not going to corrupt me. I'm going to be the guy that goes in and says, no, I don't want the gold-plated. I got a health care plan. I mean, I got a private thing. I pay for my family and everything. I'll go in and take $1. It used to be a matter of honor to go serve, not a career. I got to tell you, I was just at Morning Joe on MSNBC. I had to stand there next to that slime bag, Spitzer. Spitzer, I almost threw up. Yeah. What is with this guy? And it's not only Democrats like Spitzer and Weiner. It's also that Mark Sanford in South Carolina, the governor. These people can do nothing but go to the trough in the power of being a politician. They can't do anything else. They fail, and then they try to come back.
Yeah, they obviously had their issues, like, go, move on, do something else, but they always have to come back to that power base.
Why should we trust you again?
A politician.
Did you confront him while you were on Morning Joe?
I wasn't on with him. He was on before me, and I get a feeling that if I dusted it up with that loser in the green room, I would have gotten bounced.
So?
Huh? Yeah, because
I got to be honest. I don't think we should judge them on the fact if they are doing that kind. As long as they're not pedophiles. But I mean, as far as that stuff, I think we as a country put too much emphasis on what people are doing in their private lives.
For me, it's the lying. I don't care. If you want to cheat on your wife, because apparently Weiner's wife doesn't care that he was doing that stuff. She stuck with him. Clinton's wife didn't care. She stuck with him. It's not that. The cover-up is always worse than the crime.
And Spitzer was going after everyone else doing exactly what he was doing.
Spitzer's a prick.
Let's not forget about that.
Frickin', wasn't he the district attorney here?
Attorney General.
He was going after all the Wall Street firms and everything. This guy was a law enforcement officer, for lack of a better word. This guy was out prosecuting people for
pretty much doing what he was doing.
Yeah, you can't.
And he was going after radio guys for plug-all and payroll.
That's that whole mentality, though. Politicians, there's a weird power thing with politicians. Like, and they do it. Like, look at what was it, Larry Craig? Was that guy
with the wide stance?
Yeah, like they're all deviants. On some of the older guys might not be, like some of the real old dudes, but they're all pigs on some level. None of them can keep their dick in their pants. It's a lust for power, and I get it. Believe I'm a pig on my level. If I was a governor, it's all I would do.
You're tweeting out your junk,
but I would, though. You know what I mean? And it's like, now with technology, a lot of them are getting caught, or they're leaving paper trails, whereas they didn't 50 years ago, and everybody kept their mouths shut. Can you imagine if JFK had the fucking press that we have today?
Well, see, that's what I love. Yeah, that there's a certain group in this country that's all against sexual harassment unless it's committed by a Clinton or a Kennedy, and then it's okay. You know what I mean?
Fine.
Sexual harassment's bad.
You don't hear about it.
That's different. Well, what was Kissinger's line was, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
That's what Kissinger said.
It's got to be hard when you're used to going after and getting what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fault any of those guys for doing, as long as they're not forcing people, as long as they're not. But again, I know it makes them blackmailable, so I know there's a certain detriment.
But it's interesting because there was an FBI profiler that wanted to find the most likely pool in American society for psychopaths, and he looked at mechanics, he looked at school teachers, gym teachers, he looked at everything, and the closest pool that he said that they would be likeliest to find psychos was politicians.
Sure.
Because they'll look you in the eye like Ted Bundy, and they'll lie to you, they'll be charming, and they have absolutely no remorse.
Radio hosts came in.
I was going to say,
I saw that list.
Yeah.
I did see the list.
Oh,
and radio hosts, talk show hosts are up there,
got a couple of heads in this
I thought that was the obvious joke, but we actually made the list?
Yeah, they're up there. Yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, politicians, that makes perfect sense. Power-hungry douches.
Yeah. Zero remorse.
Brad Thor.
So do we make it cheerier?
Amazing.
Are we ending on a hot note?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love when you
I
come in,
love it.
Brad. You got to come in more than once a year.
Well, last year...
You ever in New York?
I'm going to start coming more often.
All
I'd
right.
love to be on the show. And you guys last year, it was the first time I'd done the show, and my Twitter following blew up after
great.
that. I couldn't believe... And that we were talking about that off air, about how many people, more than anything else, people wanted to know, am I going to be on the Opie and Anthony show this year?
Shit.
They're like,
Nice.
you're going to be on, make sure you get on.
It's
Listen to
Brad
it every
Thor
day.
on Twitter, right?
Correct, Brad Thor on Twitter.
How many books you got out now?
This is my 13th.
Holy crap.
Lucky 13, Hidden Order. In bookstores
Today.
Today, come on.
Ultimate summer beach read.
Pick it up.
I swear to God, I thought you had a quote from the KKK. But
Well, KKZ, right? I thought so too.
KKTX.
Yes.
But I looked at it really quick, and I thought America's favorite author says KKK.
Yes.
KKTX, Dallas
I just
station.
saw that really quick.
This book reads good. Imperial Dragon.
It's gooder than good.
That was KKTX. Wow. Okay. Don't want to make that mistake.
Jimmy, got anything?
Yes, I do.
Ah,
July 20th, there are tickets for the Late Show, I think, with myself, Amy, Artie Lang, and David Tell for the Sands in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. First show sold out. The second show, August 9th, I am doing that Gathering of the Juggalos in Caven Rock, Illinois. www.juggalogathering.com. Fighting
Is that
for my
the makeup?
life.
Is that
Yeah.
the makeup?
Yes.
They're like the clowns and
I
everything?
am doing a set there.
Next
which,
time you're surfing
Don't bring any drugs. There'll be a lot of law enforcement at that thing.
I
Will
don't
there?
doubt it,
Oh, yeah,
right?
with the juggalos?
I don't do drugs, but I'm just hoping to find one hippie girl who doesn't shave her armpits who will urinate on me.
Brad, there's no law enforcement there. I'm being told by Iraq, who I guess knows about them.
Tonight,
Yeah, sure.
myself and Amy Schumer are on the season premiere of the
Will you
Jeselnik
be inside
Offensive.
Amy Schumer?
What's that?
Will you be inside Amy Schumer?
I would love to be, but she doesn't. Apparently, she has a thing against Valtrex. But I've been on Amy before, and I'll be on Jeselnik tonight with Amy. We're doing panel together. It was very funny, I think.
Oh, cool.
And by the way, that is the name
10:30.
of her show.
Inside
Amy
Amy Schumer, yes.
So that the
Yes.
audience knows
Yeah,
I'm not just being a pervert here.
we were all on there.
Yes.
You gotta,
Well, not all.
Opie. Next season, she's picked up. She's writing right now. She's writing as we speak.
So support Anthony Jeselnik's show because he's treated me well. Not that that's why you should support it, but I would hope that you would. And it's very funny the panel we did. So
Very cool.
Hopefully you'll enjoy it.
We'll all be watching tonight. And
I
we'll-
hope so.
In between reading chapters of Brad Thor's new book, Hidden Order.
Cool, man.
I'm bringing this home with me.
A lot of people have told me they've bought it for like their dad or their husband who wasn't a reader, and then I hear from these guys and they say, you turned me on to reading all
They
over
all
again.
can't put
So-
it down.
Yep. No,
Yep.
that's music to an author's ears.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see Brad next time. Come see us, all right, brother?
Yeah.
Thanks.
We don't
Appreciate
know,
it.
We don't know how to end shows.
Is that it? We done? That's it?
I don't know.
Actually,
there was an ending in there somewhere,
you
but
don't
we didn't
have
take
any,
it, so now it's all weird. Now it's just all weird.
No music to take
no,
out?
that's just nothing. We just yawn and go. Stay tuned for the Sam Roberts after show. I guess we'll be talking at length about the 14th annual gathering of the Juggalos again.
Are we broadcasting live from there or what?
I am not going to the gathering
What?
of the Juggalos.
Aren't these the guys
What
that
day
did
is it?
Insane
Yeah,
Clown
Insane
Posse?
Clown Posse.
Yes,
August
yeah, I know
9th,
a
it's a
little bit.
Friday.
I'm not going.
Friday? Oh.
You don't think it sounded cool?
No.
You wouldn't go?
It sounds so
If I didn't have a
douchey.
beach house, Brad Thor, I would be.
No,
going.
dude, it's
I don't have
it's
one
an
either, dude.
amazing event. Naked chicks all
No,
over the
look.
place.
I mean, I don't mean douchey like that. Look, naked chicks, Jim Norton, bands, whatever.
Clown makeup, all good.
I personally wouldn't fit into that.
Why wouldn't you? You're a piece of garbage. You'd be
Yeah,
what do
I'm
you
a
think? You're
different
not white
piece of
trash. You're
garbage.
perfect for that place.
Look at this.
Look at these
Wait,
guys.
Have you been working out? You running?
Thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't say anything. You've lost a lot of weight.
I just
Jim.
been
You
going to
look
the gym,
great.
eating better. You know, just
Eating better.
yeah, I just been working out.
Good
thank,
for you.
Thank you,
Good
man.
for you. You
Look
look
at
great.
his,
Taking
look at
care
his
of
left
yourself.
wrist.
That
you.
and AIDS.
He's got an injury.
Yeah.
He's got an injury.
He's got an injury
my
from
wrist.
working out.
Oh,
Look.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
Too much jerking off.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, they
look.
play hacky sack there?
Oh, hell yeah.
I might have to break out the
See?
skills.
See, I
the
hate-
Ulster had skills.
I hate that whole.
Why?
You don't have to play hacky
thing.
sack.
I used to be
You
a
could
hacky
just-
I
sack
know.
You
guy.
could just do it with the naked girls.
Yeah, that would be good.
I got a way that'll help you end the show quick.
What?
You still have to do podcast intros in the commercial.
Goodbye.
All right, can I sign?
Opie and Anthony have left the building. After O&A Live, with Sam Roberts. Is next.